Before starting this course on career counseling, it is extremely important to understand why you should take your career choice seriously. In this video, we will help you understand the importance of making the right career choice for yourself. So, why is your career choice so important? It is important because it determines a lot of things in your life, including number 1, quality of life. Your career choice plays a huge role in deciding where you live, how flexible your life is, and the kinds of things you are able to do in your free time. Number 2, identity. Ask any elder person about their career and they will tell you about it as a part of their identity. They'll say something like, I am a journalist, instead of, I report news. Notice how everybody asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And not, what do you want to do when you grow up? This shows that your career choice shapes your identity. Number 3, impact. Every human life touches thousands of other lives in so many different ways. If you select any 60-year-old person who is about to retire, take a time machine, find him as an infant, throw that infant into trash, and then come back to the present day, you'll find that a countless number of things around you have changed. So whatever career you choose, the world will be affected by it. Anything that determines your quality of life, your identity, and the impact that you make should be taken very seriously. And that includes your career choice also. So we hope that this short video could help you understand the importance of making the right career choice. Having done that, we will now move forward to start our career counseling course. We are pretty excited and we hope you are too. So, let's begin. See you.
Good evening everyone. Welcome to the day 44 of ProBano's Daily Life Career Guidance Podcast. And today we have Dr. Richard Gasper with us. So I'll do a small introduction of him and then we'll start off. So Dr. Richard Gasper likes to keep it very short and sweet. And as he says, we'll follow by his saying. So Dr. Richard Gasper is the principal and secretary of St. Augustine's School in Kolkata. And there's a lot more to him, but we'll get to know more about that through his own words. So, without any further ado, thank you so much everyone for joining in. And it has been a great pleasure conducting the podcast till 44 days consecutively. I'm pretty sure that we'll go till 100. And yeah, somebody started playing a band at my place. So I'll definitely ask Richard, sir, please introduce himself in his own words. I think it's a celebration today that Richard sir is here with us.
Richard, sir, you're muted right now.
Thank you very much, Aditya, for having me over in your show of ProBano. And it's been a great pleasure being here, and I'm sure that it's going to be fun and exciting. As always, generally these talk shows are always very interesting, and there are a lot of impromptu things actually come in, and you actually you start discussing a lot of things in the course of conversation. So yeah, I think let's keep it short and sweet, and I think we can start. Yeah, tell me.
So since today there's a band playing at my place, I'll probably have to stop for a while and ask the same to take over this podcast and ask you the initial few questions about your journey.
Okay.
So we got a band of Bharat for you, Richard, to welcome you to the show. And I think it's going to be very enjoyable. Anyway, so Richard, can you just take us through your journey of from your school days, right, in your own words, from your school days right up to here, all this, the journey that you went through for the benefit of everyone.
I had my journey was more like a roller coaster. I would put it that way. I started my schooling from my own school, that is the St. Augustine's Day School, and then when I was in the class 2, I went to Don Bosco, and I was there till the 6th grade. And then unfortunately I had this bout of jaundice, and it was a very severe case, so I missed a lot of school, and for which the principal he had requested my dad that that if I could withdraw me from the school, because I could not able to continue and catch up with the class. So I had to leave Don Bosco. But anyways, every cloud has its silver lining. So I joined my dad's school in the 7th standard, and then there was no looking back, because I did get a lot of opportunities as in all angles, whether it was debates, whether it was quizzes, whether it was music, dramatics, you name it. I mean, there was no area that I did not participate in, especially with co-curriculars and the games and sports field. And as such, where my studies were concerned, I was a little bit average student, not very good, and at the same time not very bad as well. But most of the times, being my father was an educationist, and he was very strict as a person. And he said, yes, all fun and games is there, but then you need to also be academically quite strong. So anyways, I did finish off my 12th from my own school. And then after that, I joined the St. Xavier's. I did my honors in the BCom. And then after the BCom, I thought that no, I don't want to pursue anything on education. I would want to make my fortune in, in music. And that's where actually in the college in 1994. And I got into one of these bands at a very young age of 19. And therein after there was no looking back, because my life journey was such that I actually started understanding what is being a bandmate is all about, what is playing together as a group is about, and how to face the various obstacles, problems that do come up in life, is where I learned a lot with my band Dusk. And then from Dusk, because of my talent, there were a lot of other bands who were also wanting me to go more clear, that was remote. So I got an opportunity and the best. At those days, we had bands like Karma, which was a fantastic fusion group, and I did a lot of shows with them. Then there was I was sessions with Anjan Dutt. I did play with Anjan Dutt, Kabir Suman, and Nochiketa. We had done some shows together, three of us. Then, of course, my dear band Bhumi, which I always be indebted to, and we learned so much and gave me the scope to actually create the music that actually I wanted to do. And I'm always very I'm very always thankful to Shomitra and also Chatu, because they were the two who always encouraged me, as well as Ghosh was there. He was always the comedian and kept us all in high spirits with his jokes. And in fact, all our members together were very close, and we really gave our best in the first album, Jatra Shuru, and which what I understood, it went out to sell nearly about 10 million copies. So apparently it is like after Rabindra Sangeet, that is the next highest selling album. So definitely it's a great achievement where we are as a band, and being a founder member, I'm very happy of taking that accolade with the entire group. Then what happened was, then I thought that Kolkata, I had enough. At that time, the scenario in Kolkata music was not really quite happening as the way we wanted. And honestly speaking, I was looking at making music as my career. I don't know why, but I just felt that music had that glamour, it had that that flair, it had that charm, which could take you in a very long distance. You had media which was always hounding you, and I just enjoyed that kind of stardom at that point of time. So I said, okay, I made a very hard decision. And I said, okay, 1999 is the year that I need to go to Mumbai because my friends were in Mumbai then. And they told me, why don't you come to Mumbai? You can make it big out here because I know you're very talented. And, they need a lot of keyboard players. And there's a music industry which is just, opening it up slowly to, the more westernized kind of music. So so thereafter, what happened was, so I went in 1999. I went to Mumbai. Of course, my parents never liked the idea that I should go to Mumbai, and I actually smuggled myself, and I went out from the city of Kolkata. I mean, yes, this is a, as I said, if I ever did write a book, I could do that. So I had my dear friend Kalyan. So he had a car, a Gitano. So he said, okay, buddy, let's hop in and let's take the car and go. So I said, yeah. I mean, how long will it be? I said, will it be a one day? I said, he said, you must be crazy. It'll take us at least 3 nights to reach Mumbai. I said, oh wow, that's really going to be adventurous. And true enough, believe me, it was an adventure, a bumpy ride. When we went to a place in Lodasuli, there was no roads at all. So we had to just go to this huge craters, and luckily it was a Gitano, so we managed it. So those days, the highways were not as good as what you see today. Nowadays, it's totally like heaven and hell. So it took us about 3 nights to reach Mumbai, and then that's how our the journey began in Mumbai. And yes, I was doing quite well. Not, I won't say that I was doing badly. I was doing well, because there's a lot of struggle which one has to do when you are in Mumbai to reach to the top. Anybody who comes to Mumbai has to struggle. Life is very fast out there. It's very fast, and you need to build your contacts very fast. There's no time to do kind of things like adda and all as you get here in Kolkata, because it's all work basis and everything is very fast. And once I got to the city, I realized that how fast the entire city is, because even from the trains that you take, and even your movements are all absolutely like express speed. You miss a train and you had it. You are late, and then there's a lot of repercussions, and you have to answer to a lot of things, especially when you have responsibilities. So yes, so I'm there. I did work at a nightclub at Farias in Kolaba, and so that's how I gained quite a lot of popularity. Then I had a lot of other friends, and slowly we had these jam sessions in music directors' houses, and that's how we, kind of, you know, uh, I made myself known in the circuit. And the good thing then was that, I don't know why, but they have, at those days, they used to have a problem that if you had a Bengali surname, so, because a lot of friends who I knew who were Mumbaiites, they said the same thing those days. Oh, you have a Bengali title, you don't have Bengali title, you'll do very well. But they always had, there was an issue then. But nowadays, of course, it's not. But those days, they had that problem. If you had a title, because they felt that Bengalis were so good, they're going to go and rob everybody's jobs in the music industry. So that was the feeling that people felt in Mumbai those days, because they felt that we, being Bengalis, were a threat. Anyways, so thereafter, after some maybe a year, I kind of got a homesick, and I said, no, I don't want to continue all this anymore. And even I was not keeping too good in health as well. So that's the time I kind of decided that no, I think I had enough, and I'm going to move to back to Kolkata. And I don't know what I'm going to do when I get back, but I still wanted to continue in music. So then, when I got back in Kolkata, so we were kind of looking for opportunities to play, because by then the band which I was playing for, the Western band, that had completely disbanded by then, because some of the members had gone off to Mumbai, and just me and the other guitarists and Shomitra were there in Kolkata. So then we triggered upon an idea. Okay, fine, let's do something, and that's exactly when the movie actually happened in that 2000, and then we started doing our own original music. But mind you, there was a lot of struggle, and even as music as a career is initially is always a struggle in the city of Kolkata. But I can tell you that once you gain your popularity and you really start doing well, your music actually starts selling, then there is no looking back. You get umpteen number of gigs and shows, and there is no sky limit for it. So music was there. Then after some time, my father told me once that, okay, fine, you like music, don't you? So I said, yeah, I do like music. He said, okay, fine. We need a music teacher in our school. So would you like to fill in? Because we are searching for a good music teacher, but we're not getting one. So then I said, okay, if it's a part-time kind of a job, I don't mind because I can definitely do part-time shows and stuff like that. So, I mean, I can do shows and I can do the part-time. Little did I know that when I got into the education industry of being a teacher, I just fell in love with the kids, and then at a point when I thought that, yes, I want to excel and do something in music, I would see the sad faces of those children and said, no, I don't think I can do this. It's going to break my heart to do that. And that's how actually I got hooked on into education. And teaching came as a flair for me then, and it just came naturally when it was English language I taught, or whether it was the music that I taught, or the history or geography, whichever subjects that I was given to teach. It just came kind of naturally to me, and I didn't know that I had this innate kind of I had this talent that I could actually teach. I thought, I mean, I'm useless. I mean, I'm a musician, I'm a rocker. I said, I mean, what the hell am I going to do with kids? But then, there's a thing is that there's a knack of getting on with the children. That's the main thing, to understand their pulse, and then to make them more comfortable, and you give them a feeling that, see, look, boss, I am nobody. You guys are the boss. I am just, a person who is there as a catalyst to help you with education. So that's how I surrendered to the students. And ever since then, the students of my classes were just loved my subjects, the way I used to teach them, whether it was Julius Caesar or whether it was the thing. So I taught right from the fifth standard right till the 10th standard. I taught all those classes. So slowly, steadily, I got into the groove of it, and I was teaching English, and then I kind of took a great liking for English. I said, okay, I want to do English, and I want to pursue myself being a good English teacher because I think I have a flair for teaching. So then my dad said, okay, fine. In that case, then you have to do your masters, because without masters, you will not be able to proceed, and that also in English, because you have got a BCom degree, and obviously to teach English, you need to have a master's degree in arts. So yeah, I said, okay, great. So I enrolled myself in the university in Annamalai, and I completed my master's degree in English. And then after, just 1 to 1, so I started doing English, teaching English. And then my dad said, okay, fine, I think you had enough of teaching, and you've made your name for teaching. Now it's time that you need to get into ideas about management. And so he actually was a very smart man.
I can
He
understand
put
that.
he was a very smart man, because thereafter what he did was, I mean, okay, fine. I appreciate what he did. He said, okay, you like co-curricular activities, don't you? You like games and sports, co-curricular activities. Fair enough. I want you to be a co-coordinator of the co-curricular activities of the school. So there and after, this was around 2004. And I said, great. I mean, I love doing that kind of job. So me, along with another, the coordinator who was there. So we worked together as a team. And during that time, we kind of did extremely well in a lot of co-curricular activities. Whether it was quizzes, we just swept all the quizzes in Kolkata circuit at the national levels, and even in other co-curriculars like debates, dramatics. We were extremely good in those areas. So that slowly, steadily, those things what I liked, I was given those things to take them up. I liked a lot of creative, because my dad realized that I was a very creative kind of person. So that's how I got into the field of this creativity and these kind of things. So then, slowly, steadily, I said, fair enough. I wanted to do a B.Ed, because he said that, see, now if you once you've mastered yourself in the co-curricular academics, that's not enough. Because if you are really looking into getting into the groove of, running a school and aspiring to be a principal, then you need to have B.Ed as your, you need to do your B.Ed as well, because you need to have a master's with a B.Ed. So I have had no clue about this. I said, now, I had done 2 degrees. Now I have to do another degree. I said, oh my goodness, now what do I do about this thing? So anyways, nevertheless, I finished off my year also. And I was as a management, did my management in the school. And then gradually, slowly and steadily, I took up the headmastership in 2012 in our Barakpur branch. 3 years I did a stint over there. And then finally in 2015, I came to the Kolkata school as a principal and secretary in 2015. And thereon, I'm just carrying on as a principal. So this has been basically my entire journey, if you can say, as a musician, transferred into an educationist.
Wow. That is really a rollicking journey, if I may say so. And I must say that you lived your life through the whole process. But there is
Yes.
one outstanding thing that you touched upon which caught my attention, which is when you said, when I was trying to teach the kids music and English and history, you found the look on the faces of the kids which sort of moved you. And that's the time when you realize that you really love this thing about teaching the kids to get to wherever they want to. I think what you were trying to do was you connected with the children. Can you tell us a bit more about that? That connection, how it happens.
See, I always thought myself to be the student. The teacher thinks himself to be the student, and he believes or she believes that I have to make these students convinced that what I'm teaching does not go over their heads. So I have to come down to their levels, the ground zero, so that even the student who is the dumbest in the class, I would not call them dumb, that's the wrong term to use, the student who was not so intelligent, but I had to drive those things into those students. Because I realized that if the student who is the average student could have been, knocked upon that, okay, this is what the whole thing is about, automatically the students who are above average students, for them, it's like bread and butter. So I had to prepare my classes to the standard and the level of the level of the average and the below average in the class. So this is what was a big challenge for me. And I kind of enjoy doing this because I myself felt that, yes, I am a student which is in that category. Because when I look at myself as a student, I always felt myself with an average standard. So as a teacher, I thought that, okay, if I have to be a good teacher, I have to think that they are like me, and these are the things that they will not understand. These are things that they'll understand. So basically, the known was taken to the unknown. So that's how I actually used to, teach the students, and that's how the kids really, they were absorbed in the classes. So this is where that's how the link has actually developed between the students and me as a teacher. So there were times that, when children, they are so absorbed with your classes, there were times that because of my busy schedules and I had to do other responsibilities, I may have forgotten that I had a class that I had to take. So much so that the kids used to come up to my room and they used to tell me, sir, you have a class, you need to come right now. So then I realized, because what happens most of the times, maybe 1% only students would do this for the teachers. Why? Because they like their classes. But more and above, if it was a maths class or the geography or history, the students would just let the bell go. Okay, teacher has not come. Let me sit tight in the class. So this is where I actually started realizing that these students actually missed my class, and that's the reason why they wanted me to come to the class. So it's the connect. What I feel as an educator, you need to connect well with the students so that they are the people who will understand what you're trying to say. Even today, maybe I have my students of the 2006 batch who I taught the ICSE. They still remember the ways I taught them the various poems that I had. And they, mind you, they were very, very difficult poems. Or whether it was things like, direct, indirect speech, active and passive voice, all these, the grammar parts, the parts of speech, they had to be really broken down into such a level which is an understandable level for every child. Even a class 4 and 5 could have also could have understood what exactly I was trying to teach. So this was basically what I, thought that I will do for my students.
I think that's a fantastic philosophy and sentiment you put across. Because at the end of the day, we as human beings, if we can connect with the other people, and that's where the magic happens. And I think that's where you created the magic. And I think I don't know. And you, as an educator, as a musician, as a co-curricular person, I think it's true for all fields of life, whether it be music, when you connect with the audience, whether it be engineering, when you connect with the people who are going to benefit out of whatever you're going to do, that's where you make the magic. Would you say that in the current world, just before the COVID happened, we are too much, we are caught up in the run of the mill, running after performance and marks, and we forget about connecting with the other human beings to whom we actually can make a difference. We seem to have forgotten the art of connecting. And what do we need to do to bring it back?
Well, the first and foremost thing is that why we are running a rat race is basically because of the syllabus. If you look at it, all whether it's all boards, I would call it the council, or you talk about CBSE, they need to actually, make students, as I said, give them another chance to grow up once again, as what the song says. So give me some sunshine, give me some rain. So it's basically what I feel is that the syllabus, the quantum of syllabus which have been bombarded onto the students is just too much right now. When in our days, we never found the syllabus to be so, taxing and so, in depth. What I felt that if the syllabus can be, I mean, this is a big if it can be modified by which the students till the 10th standard, they can understand their subjects well. Teachers also don't need to rush and complete syllabuses, because ideally speaking, that's what's happening. We have a humongous syllabus, and the teachers are literally have to do overtime and try to complete the syllabus, which is general scenario today in all ICSE schools. So if we can curtail the syllabuses, do a proper way, like, that these are the things what is required to be taught. These are things which is not required to be taught. So accordingly, those things, if it can be done, then I'm sure that, we will make the child can actually enjoy their entire, the school life. Now, that is exactly what is happening with the international curriculum, because with the IGCSE board, which is the new board that is coming, they only got the opportunity of understanding in depth more about this new curriculum of the IGCSE. I realize that the kind of the pressure is just totally, so it is not, there's no pressure at all on students. So I said, wow, this is something which the kids would definitely enjoy, because they just have to study 6 subjects. They don't have to study anything extra. And there's a lot of more hands-on practical examples which they have to, their marking systems are more practical based, because if you understand the councils or the CBSE, it's all rote learning and more of writing. But in these, it's just opposite, where you need to do more practical experiments, and that I find the students, for them, learning would be having a lot of more meaning. Because let's be honest, today, if we are, we have been studying, we have studied in school, in ICSE schools, but how much of what we have studied actually we can recall it? How much have we actually I mean, a lot of things that we have forgotten. But only the teachers who taught us well a particular subject, even till this date, it is imbibed in our heads, and we will remember those things. So similarly, what I feel is that if learning should be like this, it should be made fun. It should be down to earth. The curriculum should not be crammed. It should be more practical based. So these are the things which, and it should be updated on a regular basis. Curriculum needs to change, because the world is changing every second. So the curriculums also will be changing. Today, the E is equal to MC square. This particular formula does not hold good, because there are a lot of theories that have proved that the E is equal to MC square is wrong. So coming to the end thing is that I feel, first of all, curriculum is a major portion which needs to be looked into by all educators, especially with educators who are having the boards with them. Therein after only we can think of this rat race not being run, because a lot of teachers will get time to do a lot of progressive teaching, and they would be enjoying, the students would be enjoying the classes. This is what I have to say.
That's a brilliant take, and that's a very drastic way of looking at it. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot in the many people in the audience who are going to agree with you. But what appears to be is there is this mad rush to get 100% marks in my exams. And like the poor kid goes to school with a heavy bag, comes back home, picks up another heavy bag and rushes off to a private tutor, and and there you have it. The life is gone. And so that, the chasing of a mirage of a number, or a mirage of, oh, if my son or my daughter gets into IIT or a medical, life is made. So that is driving a lot. What is your take on this as an educationist?
See, I think you see is the other problem here is that, people need to get out of that mindset. They need to get more knowledgeable about education, attend more career fairs which are happening in various cities, Google up, check out what are the kind of careers, because today if you go and see, there are so many departments in IIT Kharagpur, I'll tell you, for example, because this is known. There are nearly about there's a whole department of in IIT Kharagpur which has closed down because they have not had takers for it. And there are a lot of even engineering colleges which have also been shut down, because they are students who don't want to go for engineering because they find that there are no jobs. There are a lot of, I know people who have done engineering and they are jobless today. They are working in call centers. So, and even doctors also these days, they are unable to, they make ends meet and they have to take up some other profession. So this is where, it is. And sometimes we are forced to take up this particular career because maybe sometimes parents give that kind of pressure. Or you have to be an engineer, you have to be a doctor, or maybe because they are unable to fulfill their desires of being a doctor or engineer, so they want to live it through their parents. So we have things like this as well. But today it is the today's era is not the era that where you have so many avenues of careers that one student can actually take. And in fact, these careers are so lucrative, and the amount of revenue that students can earn is it's really very very good packages, pay packages that they are getting. So parents need to understand that, being engineers, doctors, and lawyers are not the alpha omega of careers. There are a lot of other areas in which children can make good careers in, because especially now when the world is in, getting more into technology, there's a big need for researchers. Okay, there's a big need for researchers, as you know, for this COVID-19. A lot of research institutes have been working behind the scene trying to get a vaccine for the entire thing. So what I personally felt was that, these are the things which people need to understand what exactly is required, what professions are going to be paid well, right? So which are the things that my child should go for. Now, another thing is digital marketing. This is a really big boom because everybody is going digital. People are thinking that why let's be more, as I said, environment friendly, and and because that's going to be very costly affair. I mean, you just look at giving a newspaper ad; it will cost you at least 3 lakhs to maybe 2.5 lakhs in a newspaper. But the same amount of money, if you're going to pump it into digital marketing, your outreach, your the viewers is much higher than what you're actually giving in a newspaper. So digital marketing is also becoming a very big boom today in especially careers. If you look at careers, another part is mass communications, because they that there is no dearth of channels which are opening up, because they are finding that, this is a need. They need TV anchors, TV shows. So there is always a big demand for this mass communication, journalism. There are a lot of kind of things. Journalism, there's a huge avenue of journalism, that is photography journalisms are there. So where if you join the correct organizations, they really pay you extremely well. So these are some of the new kind of careers that they can actually, take up, think of taking up now in these present days, because I feel that these are what are very lucrative. The other thing, what I find is, as a career, you can think about is like, computer games, because computer gaming is a very big demand right now in the industry, and the people pay, for programmers who are making new games, new ideas also. There was a kid who I was reading online, who was about 15 years or 16 years, and he's a millionaire because he designs the various games, computer games, and those things are used by companies in Japan like Nintendo's and PlayStations and things, and they modify these, and they are selling their all these, the video games by the dozen or even by millions through the apps and all the various places. So this is also another big demand for computer programming. This is another good area. Artificial intelligence is another great avenue, which is completely new. But yes, this is something which is really catching up the world, and a lot of countries are moving more into the artificial intelligences. So as I said, that this is just the tip of the icebergs of careers. If you actually do a research or you do your study of careers, there are no dearth of kind of careers that you can get, which are completely new. There are big demand for it, and there are very few takers for it. So why run the rat race? Go for these careers where the demand is not high, and your opportunities and chances of getting into a job after graduation is always very, very, very high. So this is what is my take on careers, if you ask.
Brilliant. And Aditya is itching to ask you questions. I can see that. So because he's into careers. So Aditya, it's over to you. Thank you, Richard. I'll get back to you later on.
All right, sure. So.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Richard. And first of all, I would like to apologize to all the users. There was a bit of minor disturbance at my end. I could hear that there was some kind of, that band thing going on from behind me. And I think they're again starting playing. I don't know for what they are celebrating. But yeah, Dr. Richard, I've been hearing, your journey, and it has been a pretty interesting one, from a musician to an educator. And, you have obviously now helped a lot of students make their careers. My question to you is, career guidance, according to you, a nice to have or a must have?
It's a nice question, because what I feel is that there are a lot of students who are unable to decide at an age in the class 12, when they are in the 12th standard. They are not able to decide as to what they want to take up as a career. So I feel it's very, really important that all schools should have a career counselors in their school, because these career counselors, they also need to go for various training programs. For example, you have a couple of training programs that they can do attend in Delhi and in Mumbai. There are two basic places where you get career counseling training. For example, in our school, we have career counselors, and they had gone for training in Delhi, and they were also trained in four other universities in Mumbai, and there was in Gujarat, and there was one in Delhi. So there were three universities where they also got the idea about the careers, and the exposures also were there. They had a lot of exposure. They had a lot of foreign universities and colleges that had come in. And in fact, I was very fortunate to attend one of them in Delhi, where there were about 150 odd universities and colleges from all around the globe had come in for a huge kind of a career fair, or as I will call it. And the good thing about this career fair was that they had a flip system, where the first day, it was a 3-day program. The first day, all the universities, they laid out their stalls, and the various schools who had till the 12th standard, they had to visit all the various these universities and colleges. And the next day, all the schools that participated in the career fair, they had to have their stalls, and the people from the universities and colleges were coming and approaching those schools And if they found that they were interesting and they had something good, they were taking the business cards of the principal or the career counselors who were there, and they were interacting in this ways. And what kind of careers, what kind of scholarships that the students can be given. It was very, very interesting and a real great eye opener for all of us. So I'm sure, yes, it is very, really important that all schools should have career counselors.
There you hear from a renowned educator, we must have career counseling in all the schools. And I think it is very important for all of us to consider it as a must have. And really salute you to you, Mr. Richard, or rather Dr. Richard, for helping these students understand, what careers they need to follow, and not just the run-of-the-mill careers, but also, as you said, the options which might seem offbeat, but are very good options to take up.
That's
So
right.
would request Samant to read out a few audience comments if he can. Thank you so much, Samant.
ग्रेट आई होप मेरे एंड पे कोई ऑडियो इशू नहीं आ रहा है गाइस टेक्निकल इशू बहुत हो रहे हैं आजकल but we're trying to do our very best to get the podcast out to you. And of course, Dr. Richard, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And when you were talking about your experience in the school and the inspiration and whatnot, I could relate to that on a personal level. I don't know if you read, I'm a teacher by background, and I could actually relate, and it was like nostalgia trip for me.
Okay.
So I'll mix up a few audience questions and my questions. I'll take this opportunity to ask my questions as well.
Okay, sure.
Firstly, there's a comment by Anita ji, who's a regular on our podcast. Anita ji पूछ रहे हैं, I feel that language learning the use of mind and physical fitness should be for all in school, and rest what we should do in life should be training based or depending on one's own area of interest. Very rightly said. Dr. Richard, I would want your perspective. I don't think there's a direct question per se, but I would want your perspective on a quote I have written a few years back. And taking from what you said about, trying to inspire people, inspire the students and learning with them as a teacher's role. Teacher specialty is not that he or she is qualified or trained, but the ability to paint a picture of dreams and aspirations with words. If you can, give your perspective or your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I just I feel personally that this is something which is very personal from my side. That when I started teaching, when I started teaching in my dad's school, I did not have a BEd degree, right? But I had it. Teaching was innate in me. Maybe I was born with that talent and I didn't realize it. So, but you see, what has happened is that because of the government have got these stringent rules that have been put down upon, and that you need to be a qualified person, and even the councils, not only the ICSE, the ISC board, but even CBSE, they are very clear about the fact that the teachers that you recruit, they need to be teachers who have a qualification, a professional qualification. But I will be very clear that we've had teachers, and also we have teachers that may not have the qualification, the professional qualification, but they are outstanding teachers. It's a very clear thing, because the most important thing of being a good teacher is being practical. If as a teacher, if you have practicality in your head, you have common sense that prevail in your head, you will automatically be able to drive home whatever you're planning to or what you are trying to teach in a lesson to the child concerned. So to me, honestly speaking, a degree is not an important thing. Okay, because it's just a paper thing which is there. But because of the fact of the government and the policies of the education department, therein you go that you have to have these degrees, and that's the main thing. But I'll tell you, there are good teachers who are there who may not have their professional degrees, but still they are extremely good.
Right. Thank you so much. And one more question. I just have two really important questions. I think the rest of the perspectives can be covered by Mr. Sen or Aditya or the audience. So one last question from my end would be, what I classify to be 3 types of students in any class, irrespective of what exactly you're teaching. The one group is, of course, at the forefront who are the interested group. And at the very back, and literally at the very back of the class, there are the backbenchers who don't care about anything. They're not interested in what you have to say. And then in the middle, you have the batch which is, to say the very least, they're indifferent to anything that's happening in the class. They're not interested, they're not uninterested, they're not sure, they don't know exactly where they stand on the whole process. So my question to you would be, how would you, tap into these kids who are standing in the middle? Now I work with the interested students, it's not that difficult. I work with uninterested students and kind of flip them over 180. If you can tap what their interest area lies, and if you tap the teaching methods, I think that's an easy flip. But then the kids in the middle, I myself face many problems in, like, okay, bhai, tu karta kya hai? Kisme interest hai? Kaise kare? So have you dealt with any students, and how did you deal with that?
You see, I had gone for this training program wherein we had to understand about classroom control and understanding classroom climate. All these things were where we were being taught. And I found something which was very interesting and which I utilize it even till today. I utilize it in the classroom. Now I understand that, I follow a principle of Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence theory, right? Now in this intelligence theory, doing is that Howard Gardner, he classifies intelligence in 9 categories, right? Wherein children, he says every child, every human being will I mean to say that intelligence is of totally 9 types of intelligence is there, out of which a child will have at least 5 of these intelligences. 4 to 5 of these intelligence they will definitely have. Even if the child is a child of special needs also, will still have these 4 or 5 kind of the intelligences. For example, you have linguistic intelligences. You have, which is intelligence of language. A lot of children are very good with learning subjects of language and literature and Hindi and Bengali. So they're very good with words and the crosswords and all these things. They enjoy this thing the most. So that comes under the category of linguistic. Then you have mathematical intelligence. You have body kinesthetic intelligence, which is deals with gymnastics, playing games and sports and those kind of physical activities. Then you have spatial intelligences, which deals with more of understanding the limitations of certain things. Then you have interpersonal, intrapersonal, these intelligences there. And you have naturalistic intelligence, understanding about nature. And you also have there are 2 more intelligences. So anyways, the thing is that we formulate the class. Now what I used to do is I used to draw a zone, right? There is a 3 zone, as you rightly said. There's a backbench, there is the toppers of the class, and you have the midsection which is there. What we did is we created the 3 zones. I created a 3 zone, and we did according to the abilities of the child, intelligences. We took up the intelligences which were common to all the 3 categories of children. So if the backbencher was more with kinesthetic intelligence, because generally, as you know, children who are good in games, they are not so good in studies. Which is a general common thing which generally happens. Very seldom that you get students who are good in all-rounders or good in sports and good in academics. But in a general speaking, this is basically what I in my research I found this thing. Then a lot of children they like music. You have a lot of children who like painting, the art. So these are the things that we took all together, and then I made a true an analysis of these are the kind of things that we will be. When I formulate my class or when I formulate my lessons, it will touch upon these 4 or 5. My topic or my presentation will be based on these 4 or 5 kind of intelligences by which the child will be able to understand the entire subject. For example, I'll give you an idea. Suppose I am supposed to teach a child, say mathematics, right? And the child is not understanding mathematics. I have to roll mathematics in the form of sports. That means my presentation to the class of maths say for example, percentage would be driven more in the formula of maybe a game of cricket. So this is how I would relate to a class so that the interest of the child is there. You want to know, okay, how much Sachin Tendulkar has scored among the runs of 200. He has scored 50 runs. What is the percentage that he has scored? So this is how we relate to the child that way for something which he is interested in doing. And that's how we got the attendance, the attention of the students in the class. So this is the way, it's a technique actually which one needs to develop. And the more you start developing on these techniques, it becomes much, you become a better teacher, and the class also starts, accepting you. Another point is that we have a thing called a radar maps. Okay, the thing called which is radar maps, wherein we need to test whether the children, how much have they understood. Because what generally happens is that we are teaching like a train, and then but we need to understand, and the teacher needs to understand that how much have my child or the students in my class have actually understood my topic of what I'm teaching. So what we have formulated, a radar map kind of a thing has been formed, so that you as a teacher understand, okay, whether I should go ahead and teach further, or whether my class is falling behind and I need to reteach some things. So I need to take these oral quizzes or these oral kind of things which I need to take with my students. So at the same time, you make it interesting, you understand how much they have understood, and therein you fall, either you fall back or you progress in the way you teach. So this is the techniques that we actually utilize in in answering your question. This is the best way forward, which I feel from my side.
Right. Thank you so much. I hope मेरी आवाज नहीं कट रही है. अनिता जी का क्वेश्चन था. I think the other questions are somewhat related to what Mrs. Sian and I already asked. लेकिन I think there is a somewhat different question and relevant question. Anita ji asked, sir, do you feel that being a teacher, we do just to our students on the basis of their academic performances, as we only appreciate high performance students?
Yeah. See, the thing is that we need to first of all understand what is the root of this particular thing. It has become a very competitive issue right now. The whole thing is become so competitive. Every parent is wanting their child, oh, if he can get 90%, why not you can get 90%? So this is putting a lot of pressure on the children in the school. And child, we have to call a spade, of course. And if the child is not good in studies, we cannot expect that child to score 90%. At the same time, what is required is basically you need parent counseling is very, very important. They should be given a lot of counseling, because more than students, I feel parents need the counseling more, because they put a lot of pressure onto the child. Parents need to understand and realize that all five fingers are not alike. Maybe Mr. X's son is good in certain subjects, Mr. Y's son is not good in those subjects. So they have to accept the fact that this thing, which is it's a thing which is a very common thing. So every child is different. Every child is different. So we cannot expect too much from them. They need to perform on their own, whatever they are good at. This is something which they should be. You leave it up to the child to perform to his or her best according to their abilities. So this is what I will always guide my parents and tell them the same thing. Because today, everybody, a person who's getting 90% also, but then when it comes to the scenario of job market, a topper in the class is unemployed. But yet a backbencher in the class who's got a great communication skills, he is becoming a VP of a company. So it is not the question of the degrees or the marks that is important. Right now, what is more important is your communication skills, your language skills. This is something which will take you very far in life. Common sense. These are the things together. If you put them all together, that's where students will become better. Good values which are inculcated, good habits. Altogether, this is the complete package, which is what we expect our students. So this is what I have to say related to this.
I think one last question. I guess keeping in respect with the time, I guess this could be a good ending before Mr. Sen has something interesting planned for us. Before I move to that, I guess the one last audience question would be Sudham Harpe, if I'm pronouncing that right. He asks, "Sir, do you have any ideal education system in your mind?"
Yes, I do have. I do have the ideal. I was forgetting. Actually, I was wanting somebody to ask me that question. Yes, there's an ideal education system which should be there. What I personally feel is that education is an all-round development. It is not just academic based. When we are formulating our entire evaluation procedure or the evaluation process, there has to be a total 50-50 balance between academics and 50% of non-academics. Because today, the co-curricular skills will take you also far in life because you become good public speakers. You build up on your abilities of spoken English or even spoken Hindi or Bengali or French or Chinese, whatever be the case. But this is a very important thing that the co-curricular activities are very, very important along with the academics. But what is happening is we are not evaluating co-curricular activities. Next, physical fitness. It is so important these days that we need to be physically fit. But if you see today in most of our schools, students are not at all fit. Even I'll give you examples that we've had students who are playing, the present students of the school versus ex-students. We had football tournaments and the present students just ran out of steam. So this clearly shows that students these days are not fit. The junk food that they eat. So all these things so it's important. Physical fitness is very much required, and for which it makes students very disciplined in life. As they say, if you're not disciplined in life, you cannot do anything, whether it is your academics or whether it's your co-curricular. Everything follows a particular discipline. So what I think is that when we are looking at evaluating or looking at promoting children to the next classes, they should have a holistic evaluation system wherein the child should also be judged on his abilities on co-curricular activities, on games and sports, his discipline, also social service, because that creates a lot of values, and the academics. But what we are doing, we are just bothering on one area, is just academics. So by doing that, the other areas is totally getting, neglected. And for which the child who may be talented in those areas and can excel themselves by the virtue of getting that opportunities, that is getting lost. Because just co-curricular classes is not enough on Saturdays that which you are having. It should be an all-round development which should be there. A complete package should be given where the child is concerned, and that can only happen if we have a very holistic evaluation system.
I just want to add a follow-up to this, Samant, which is, you talked about a holistic education system, to which I agree 200%. Now, our councils and boards, they do not have an evaluation process on anything other than physics, chemistry, mathematics, history, geography, English, Hindi, or whatever. And that's the end of it. Now, we could have, and we do have a child who's a prodigy in music, or a prodigy is in arts, or who could be the next Sachin Tendulkar or the Baichung Bhutia or whatever. So what happens to those kids who are not evaluated at the school leaving secondary stage? Because if they were evaluated and if they had a certificate to show, yes, this person is talented, then the person can go and build a career up in future. Because in future, what happens? They start looking at the paper. That's a system that we have. So how do you deal with that?
Well, you see, it is, as I was just saying, that it starts from the curriculum. Everything is based upon the curriculum of the board. And if the board is considerate and understands that, yes, these are the areas also which need to be evaluated upon. I do understand that you have physical education, which is there now as a part of the council, and it's a paper which is there. You have art, you have music, which is also being given in the 9th standard till the 12th standard for the students to do this examinations. But if more schools encourage these particular subjects in their curriculum, or their entire the list of subjects that they have or they offer in their schools, then I'm sure that children can do justice with their talents, because we find that music is a part of the lot of schools have music as a subject, and they can do well in music and they can excel with it. Fashion designing also is there. It's up to the schools. If the schools can offer those subjects to the students, provided of course they have the infrastructure, then everything is possible. So this is what I would look at it.
Brilliant. Samant.
Yeah, Mr. Sen, actually, I was going to direct it towards you. I think you have something interesting planned for us. So back to Mr. Sen.
You don't have anything from the audience?
Just one last comment, yes. Anitaji said, instead of expecting, we should accept everything and everyone. And I think this can resolve many of man-created problems. And actually, there's a word for it, if I can. It's called stoicism, which actually I was reading upon today morning. It's called stoicism, accepting the things as they are and treating them as such. With that, back to you, Mr. Sen.
Thank you, Samant. Okay. Richard, I want to go back to the early part of your journey, because if I may say so, the early part of your journey shaped yourself as an educator. Because what happened is you learned through your experiences of how to connect with the other people, and you brought a lot of joy and happiness to people through your music. And that is what you continue to do as an educator, bringing joy and happiness to the students. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's right.
So now, if I may request you to bring some joy and happiness to us and the audience by playing a little bit of your composition that you have made your mark in both in Kolkata and in Mumbai.
So you want me to sing something, or what do you want me to do?
Well, you can either sing or you can recite. It's totally up to you. Whatever you feel comfortable with.
Oh, okay. You just need to give me a minute for that, because I just need to fetch a book, and I'll just be right back.
Okay. So folks, here we have it. So we're going to have a little bit of magic coming your way. And in the meantime, if you have any comments or any questions to ask, please just go ahead and see. Aditya, do you have anything on that from anyone else?
Yeah, Mr. Sen, can you hear me?
I can.
Amazing. Yeah, so finally the band stops playing. I hope they don't start playing again soon. Has been pretty unpredictable today, and I think that is the flavor of life. But the good part is that with Richard sir, we have learned a lot, and I think as an educator, and we also as educators need to learn this, that how open-minded can one be, and how broad a perspective I think we should have. And this is a message out to all the educators and anyone who's watching, even if there are parents or students watching. We should all learn from Dr. Richard to have a very broad perspective towards life. Not limit ourselves to just whatever the society is saying. And I think Dr. Richard is back, so we'll hand it over to the showstopper.
Right, Richard. It's all yours. Take it away.
Okay. There was this. As you know, we are in this period of lockdown. So I thought that, okay, let's make myself useful, and let's do something during this period of the, if I can, do some songs, or maybe just writing, composing, and writing lyrics. But I thought, okay, fine, I will, write a couple of songs, and which I did. So here's one of the songs that I have, and it's to do with the COVID-19. It's called Corona Corona. Okay.
Very apt. Very
So
apt.
yeah, called Corona Corona. So that's the thing. The mood is like, sort of looking at the negativities of Corona or the COVID-19, but we also need to look at the brighter side of things. I mean, if you look at what it has done, it has cleared the atmosphere, the air, the birds are chirping, and then there's so many things, good things are happening. You're getting more time to spend with family. So, looking at all the scenario, I wrote this track. So I'll just sing the verse and a chorus, and I think that should be it.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
that should be good enough.
okay. So it goes like this. You wake up in the morning as the birds chirp on the trees. The streets so calm and silent. I wonder why does it sleep? The air so pure I can breathe. What else do I need? Karuna, Karuna. You've locked the world and put the fights up in every land. Karuna, Karuna, you spared nobody, not even the clergy. Oh Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. That's it. So
Okay.
I'm sure that we can. That's what's coming in my mind right now. So I don't know what the viewers felt about it, but you can get it on my wall, and the song is there on the wall for the viewers who want to hear the song with the music. You will get it on the wall.
Brilliant. So thank you so much for that. Aditya, can you close it off, please?
Thank you so much, Dr. Richard. And guys, so you heard it. It's in Dr. Richard's Facebook wall. So if you want the link, please do DM us. And also do let us know in the comments how you liked it. It was amazing according to me. I hope that you can also let us know.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much, Aditya. It's been a pleasure being with you all and sharing my experiences. And we look forward to be with you guys again.
Thank you, Richard. God bless.
We also look forward to
Okay.
be with you again, Dr. Richard, and it has been a pleasure
Welcome.
listening to you and kind of getting a very broad-minded perspective from you. I think which is very important, not just for educators but for anyone in this situation, because as Mr. Sen, very rightly says, after Corona it's Life 2.0, and when Life 2.0 comes, we have to do something different. And I think it's this perspective which we have to broaden, and we have to accommodate more, include more. And I was also hearing the answer to Saman's question, that how do we include more students? I think that's the theme for all of us educators.
Yes.
So a lot to learn, a lot to get inspired from. And thank you so much, audience, for staying with us throughout all the band playing and the echoing. And I'm pretty sure that you got to learn a lot from Dr. Richard. Do let us know in the comments. How did you find the session? Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much to Mr. Sen and Samant also for joining in. And most importantly, Dr. Richard, thank you so much for joining in. Guys, stay safe, take care, wash your hands, and family with household chores, unlike me. Otherwise, you'll go scolding. So yeah, thank you so much for joining in. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. So please press follow our page, ProBano, and press the bell icon or whatever. I think there's a bell icon there, so you can press that to follow notifications, and do stay updated. See you tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. Thank you so much for joining in. Take care.